everyone. This is your co-op lecture for Latin 1A and 1B for February 19th. Hopefully our last snow day for a while. Okay, so for you 1A students, we're on lesson 16. And for the past couple of weeks, we've been studying nouns. And 2 weeks ago, we studied the first declension. The first declension is the first family of nouns, and most of its words are feminine. And its endings are a, I, arum, is, as, is. Then last week we studied the second declension, masculine. And there are two groups of second declension words. There's masculine ones and neuter ones. Last week, again, like I said, we learned the masculine. And those endings are us, e, o, e, orum, is, os, is. So this week we're going to learn the neuter second declension words. And you can tell a neuter second declension word because its nominative form ends in So these are the the second declension words. So we have bellum, caelum, debitum, donum, forum, oppidum, regnum, saxum, templum, and verbum. These are our words for the week. And all nouns whose genitive singular ends in e belong to the second declension. We actually learned this rule last week. So we can tell that it belongs to the second declension because its genitive singular ending is e. But there are two different groups, and those are the masculine and the neuter. The bellum is the model noun for the second declension nouns ending in The stem is bell. For these nouns, you drop the nominative singular ending to find the stem. So to find the stem, we drop the and we get, for this word, we get bell. For the other words, let's look. So bellum, we have bell, caelum, we cut off the and we get cael. Debitum would be debit. Donum would be don. Forum, for. Oppidum, oppid. Regnum, regn. Saxum, sax. Templum, temple. And verbum, verb. So that's our stem. And for each of those, we just add these endings. Now, the neuter endings are almost identical to the masculine endings. Remember, the masculine endings are us, e, o, o, and then the masculine plurals are e, orum, is, os, is. Now, if you look at it side by side, you can tell that the only differences between the masculine and the neuter endings are the nominative singular and the nominative plural and the accusative plural. All right. So we have in the masculine us, in the neuter and in the plural we have e and os in the masculine, but we have and in the neuter. Now, there's a rule about the neuter words, and let's look at them. Okay, all neuter nouns have to obey the neuter rule. The neuter rule says that nominative and accusative case forms are identical, and the nominative and accusative plural case endings is a, or a. So this is always true no matter what declension, what family a neuter noun belongs to. It always has to match in the nominative and accusative, and the plural nominative and accusative have to be a endings. Okay, here's the fourth gender rule to learn. It's 2D n. That means second declension nouns that end in are neuter. As you learn the 5 declensions, you will see that a particular ending can indicate different cases in different declensions. The letter A is the nominative singular ending in the first declension, but it is the nominative and accusative plural ending in the second declension neuter. So sometimes the same letter could be in different declensions, it could be different cases. So you need to know which declension, which family the specific noun you're dealing with belongs to. English words that show their second declension neuter origin by remaining the Latin plural endings, or by retaining them, are, for example, datum. The word datum in English is singular, and in the plural, data. And that's how we say it in English. And this obviously comes from a neuter second declension word because it has in the singular and a in the plural, just like we see in bellum and bella. Another one, curriculum, that's one thing, it's singular. Curricula are multiple, curriculum. Then we have medium and media, stratum and strata, bacterium and bacteria, and memorandum or memorandum and memoranda. These are all English words that come from the neuter in the Latin. Finally, antebellum refers to the unique culture of a landed aristocracy that extended in the American South before the Civil War. That's from ante and bellum. Ante means before, and bellum means war. So literally, antebellum means before the war. All right, so as you study this week's lesson, I encourage you to also review the last 2 weeks. And it will help you if you rewatch my lecture from last week. That will help you review. Because we're all in this study of nouns right now, and it will help you to review the other nouns you already know. Okay, if you are in Latin 1B, you are doing Unit 3 and 4 review this week. And then after that, we're going to be studying the passive verbs. So this is one more week of review, and I'm not going to do much here, except a couple of reminders. So you know now all 5 declensions, and you know the gender rules for each declension, and you should know for every vocab word, you should know what family it belongs to. And that will tell you how to decline it. So make sure that you know what declension your noun belongs to, each noun. All right, so let's look at it. Adventus. We see the us endings, and that tells us that this one is in the 4th declension. So it will be declined us, ui, us, ibus, ibus. Okay, the next one is an adjective, so it doesn't belong to one declension. Instead, it has the endings of the 1st and 2nd declension. Then we have agnus, agni. All nouns whose genitive singular end in e are 2nd declension. So this one is 2nd declension. Then we have agricola, I, and we know all nouns ending in I or all genitive singular forms ending in I are from the 1st declension. Altus, again, is an adjective because it has those 3 endings, us, a, Then amicus has the genitive singular e ending, so that will be 2nd declension. Anus, again, 2nd declension. Bellum, 2nd declension neuter, right? Bonus, another adjective. Chylum, another 2nd declension. Okay, then we get canis, canis. This is a 3rd declension word. As is caput. And then Christus is 2nd. Cor is 3rd. Crux is 3rd. Debitum 2nd. Deus 2nd. Okay, so I'm not going to go through and do this for every single word, but you get the idea. You should know which declension each noun belongs to. That way you know which endings to add in your declensions. All right? So if you can't figure out which declension a word belongs to, you can look in your lessons and find which lesson it was introduced in and what declension we were studying at that point. Most of them are easily recognizable. First declension, for example, there's no other declension that has an AE genitive singular ending. All the second declension masculines and neuters end in I in the genitive singular. The genitive singular form in the fourth declension is us, so that's easy to recognize because no other ones have the genitive singular us. And then the third and the fifth, these are the ones that are a little bit more challenging and will require you more to memorize them. All right, enough of that. So that's a review for this week, and we'll finally move on to something new. All right, I think that's everything. I hope to see you soon. God bless you.